So later, my mother moved. She moved because she was not going to let no man, nobody intimidate us. She had to find another place to live. So she was forced to move in with this man that worked at the gin in oil time. In doing so, there was three more children born to her, and this man was forced into the penitentiary because he had other children by another previous marriage. And so once they placed him in the penitentiary, which we call a P form, that left my mother in a worse case than it was the first. Hard time was bringing these things upon us. One of the children, which was the twin, passed away, but there was three. She was three. She forgive me if I said four. It was three other children born into this marriage at that point. So we went and we moved in this house down after he went to the penitentiary. They sold a house out among us, never cared about what happened to us. My mother had to move, was forced to find another place to live. So we moved in another place in a cow pasture where it had never had anybody that lived there in years. It was full of bumblebees and wasps all in the outdoor bathroom and out in under the house and everywhere. It was wasps all in the place. When we moved there, my mother had a hard time. We went down to the little creek there in Oil Time, which is the west of Oil Time, and my sister found a pitchfork up in the loft of the barn where the cows would have their hay, and she went out there and pitchforked out there in the water and caught fishes out near the thing, at nearby our house. After we got these fishes and ate fish, but yet still, couldn't happen every day because it was certain time the fish come close to the water where you can get them. But sometimes they would, and you go out sometime to catch fish, gig fish as they call them, and you couldn't do it. Well, as we began to starve, we were starving 2 to 3 days, 3 and 5 days at a time, and till my mother would go and beg her sisters for food. We looked at this, sisters and brothers for food. So one day, my brother came to us and told us there was a truck had turned over, was full of onions, bags of onions, and he said they would load them up, taking them to the dump. My mother had us to go to the city dump, which was not too far from our house, and we went down there and we found so many onions, and we brought them back and we laid them on the back porch of this house where we lived at. Well, the cows and the mules, they all came that night and they ate up all the onions. So my mother sent us back to the city dump to try to find more food for us to eat. And as we arrived at this city dump, the onion was covered up. But there we found a box full of passport chicken over there to the left there, and we got it, and my sister brought it home to my mother. My mother took and washed the chicken that was covered up with plastic and everything, and cleaned it, and washed it, and put it in, soaked it in vinegar all night long, and the next morning came. She took and cooked this chicken and made us sit around her and give thanks to God for the blessing that we was about to see. She let us know that it wasn't what you had that made you rich, it was the meaning of the heart, which caused us to be rich. The rich man is poor if he doesn't understand the meaning and the value of what he has. He'll continue to reach and he will continue to grab onto that he have and that he don't have until it lead him to his own destruction. She taught us all of the values of life throughout our upbringing. After we moved from this place, because we was not on a farm for nobody, but she had to for people, but she had to get us on a farm where we could enhance our way of life. So we moved west of where we was, down at Cotton Center, to a man farm called Carl Uzippi. Carl Uzippi had a small farm. He could not afford to hire a major force to work in his farm, but he had to hire somebody that was small. So my mother fit the category. So as my mother brought us to this high farm, and we worked sharecropping. Well, we worked during the summer. I was too young to get out in the field because my mother she let me babysit, but she had two boys and a girl working with her, Lucille and Willie and Ozell. This went out and sharecropped with her. Well, before we arrived at that plantation, it was things that I saw that I didn't know anything about. The United States government and the peoples, the farm, the large plantation like the Walls Plantation and Elam Planting Company. Their farm was so big till they took it and got the Mexicans from Texas or Mexico, wherever they came from. They brought them in here on a large truck. They used the Mexicans to take and harvest their crop once they planted these crops. At that time, there was no cotton pickers. The small cotton picker they had made, they was old tractors that had a bed placed on them. There was a more antique, black, constructed beds. But they used these to pick the cotton. And there was times when these black men would have to take and pick that cotton out around those fingers that was on there. But there was some that got lost their lives because they got caught up in these things when they was doing this. It was devastating. This is the way life was in America. I saw all of this. The Mexicans was enticed to the United States through the need of the rich white man. So, one day, what brought us to Pine Bluff was the white man wanted Willie, my brother Willie, to come work for him one Saturday, and he refused. And my mother told him you done worked him all a week. If Willie say he won't work, I'll let him work. But if he say he don't want to work, I can't let him work for you on Saturday. She said, I call Willie here, and I'll ask him, do he want to work for you? Well, she called Willie to ask him, do he want to work for Mr. Carl Uzippi? Mr. Carl Uzippi, he said, no, ma'am, I don't want to work today. So my mother said, he don't want to work. And so the man left. He was angry with Willie for refusing him. So he came back down there about 30 minutes later and told my mother, your son Willie came down there and shared my seed planters over. I want you to let me whoop Willie for sharing my seed planters over. She called him, my brother, said, Willie, did you go down Mr. Carl Uzippi? He said, no, ma'am. She said, well, did you see him share your seed planter over? He said, no. He said, well, how do you know? She said, well, I can't let you whoop my son. And so from that day forward, my mother started having a problem with Mr. Carl Uzippi. And so she moved to Pine Bluff, where she rented her first house for about $12 a month, somewhere on 12th Street in Pine